The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.
Listen, I also want to tell you this. I got an update today from Mike Zullo. It was on the phone with him, and I just, you know, a couple of weeks ago, I told you folks that this birth certificate investigation, the investigation of, now this is not a birther thing, okay? The cold case posse, Mike Zullo, Arpaio, myself, at this point, I could really give a rip exactly where he was born. I mean, that is very important. It is important, please. I'm a constitutionalist, so don't hear me incorrectly. I do care. But as far as where we've been focused, we haven't been focused on a birther thing. Was he born in Kenya or was he born in the United States? What we've been focused on for the longest has been that fraudulent birth certificate posted on the White House website. Why would the President of the United States or the man that's in the office and his, you know, the people surrounding him, his administration, why would they put a birth certificate on the White House? Why would he stand and proclaim to the nation, this is my birth certificate, this is who I am? Why would he do that? Only for us to discover within, you know, minutes, really. Some people did, and within hours and then days and then weeks later after the professionals got involved, that the thing is fraudulent. Well, of course, I told you several weeks ago that the update on that was it is now, and I can only tell you this. I can't tell you what the evidence is. It's overwhelming. It's way more than Mike Zullo has ever revealed here on my program. I can't tell you because this goes to a criminal nature and could possibly, very likely, go to a criminal case. But I can tell you that for those of you who have been concerned or who have thought that the birth certificate was fraudulent, you have been vindicated 1,000%. That's not 100%. That's 100% times 10. You know that. 1,000%. This thing is a fraud. Now the questions are, well, why and who did it, etc. Well, they know a whole lot about that now, too. But what I told you a couple of weeks ago, as important as all of that is that I just said, what I told you a couple of weeks ago was that the case took a completely different turn. You know, not completely, it's connected, but you know what I mean. It took a turn, kind of an unexpected turn. Now, not totally unexpected in that Arpaio and Zullo were following leads, as good lawmen do and good investigators do. They were smelling some rats. They were looking down some black holes, you know, and some peepholes. And lo and behold, I guess a month and a half ago is when it all started unfolding. I reported on it to you a couple of weeks ago. But what happened was a ton of I got to be careful what I say here. What do I say? A ton of documented, hard copy evidence, along with other legitimate courtroom-ready evidence, was uncovered, unearthed, revealed, those are the words I can say, presented, all of those words. And Zullo flew out west from where he is. He was in Arizona, so that's out west, but he flew even more westerly from there to meet in a situation wherein more documentation would be examined and available. And he was going for a 3-hour meeting, wound up staying literally for 3 weeks. Then the evidence continued to mount that took this well outside the realm of the simple birth certificate, even though the birth certificate fraud is a felony. It's a federal crime. And listen to me again, 1,000% positive. Okay? And I know a lot of you, like me for years, so I'm not talking down to you when I say what I'm going to say next. I know a lot of you are saying, but that birth certificate, that's all we need. That's huge. That's big. That is nothing. Absolutely zero on a scale of 1 to 100 of what Arpaio and Zullo now know and what they now have in their hands. And this is not an over-dramatization. I mean, I was on the phone with Zullo today. He said, no, sir, Carl, you are not over-dramatizing. He says, as a matter of fact, you're not even coming close to hitting as big as it really is, because Zullo has told me a lot through some, I can't give away how we communicate, because people listen to us sometimes. Used to I could say that and you'd say, well, he's lost his mind. He's a tinfoil hat wearing. But now think of the NSA. Think of the cell phones and the emails. It just okay. People know when Zullo and I are talking. So we've got other ways of dealing with this. We're not dumb. We're smart. We've got other ways of communicating. And He's told me a lot, and what he has told me has absolutely boggled my mind. Things that I could not have even imagined that have gone on that he now has hard copy evidence of. But now, today, he called me and said, Carl, it's bigger, it's better, it's deeper than everything that you've ever known and everything we've ever talked about. It's monumental. The evidence is piling up. And when I say evidence, I mean evidence, hardcore. And I'm just going to use the word documented because they're actually holding documents in their hands, but there's more to it even than that, and I'm just not allowed to say what yet. So there's the update. And I know that's tantalizing, and I know it's sensational. I understand that. But, you know, just think of how, I mean, you're not, Fox News isn't going to talk about this tonight. Rush Limbaugh isn't going to talk about this today. Sean Hannity isn't going to talk about it, okay? And they're not going to have Zullo on his show. They don't call Zullo. They don't talk to him every day. They don't talk to Arpaio every day, okay? But I'm in contact with these guys, and I know what I'm talking about, and they know what they're talking about. And so the fact that you're getting to hear anything, and again, I'm not talking down to you when I say that. I just want you to understand that in these kinds of big criminal cases, look, when Watergate was going on, there was not some radio announcer out there on a show telling you for months ahead what was going on and what evidence they found and how deep it was. Nobody was saying anything like that. Well, if you listen to this show, Carl Gallup's on this edition of Freedom Friday, if you'll listen to this show, you're going to be updated. And I know sometimes it has to be a little nebulous. Sometimes it has to be a little general. But that's the way it's got to be because this is deep and it's dark and it's criminal and the evidence is overwhelming. So you're just going to have to trust that I have never lied to you about anything. I have no intentions of ever starting to lie to you about anything. And as all of this unfolds in the months ahead, and yes, it'll be a few months before all of this stuff comes out, but then you'll know. And if it doesn't for some reason, but there's no way this is not going to come out. I mean, this is history changing. This is monumental. But let's just say for some reason it doesn't. I mean, the worst happens. I don't know. We go to nuclear war, and this takes a back seat. I mean, okay, well, if something like that happens, then I'll just get on the air and tell you. I'll just tell you what it is. I mean, let me just make that promise to you. I mean, because I'm having to be so nebulous right now, I mean, listen, I've got two choices here. I could just not say a word. I could just not tell you anything. You could call up and say, what's going on with Zulu? I could say, I don't know. I could do that. Or, you know, I'm not allowed to say. But we want to know. And I'm going to say, well, it's not your right to know at this point. This is a criminal investigation. Yeah, but we need to know. Well, no, you don't need to know. I mean, that's how I could do it. Or I could do what I'm doing now, knowing that some people out there are going to say, well, he's just being sensationalist. He's just being dramatic. He's just trying to keep us hooked along. And I'm taking a chance when I do that because there are people thinking that I'm disingenuous or that I'm lying or that I'm, you know, that I'm being, you know, pumping up myself somehow over this. But I can assure you, I'm not that foolish. I'm not that narcissistic. I'm not that much of an idiot. I've got a little bit of idiot in me. Everybody has a little bit of narcissism in them. Okay, that's why I keep saying not that much. I'm not that much. I wouldn't do that to myself or my reputation or my integrity. I've been the pastor of a church, a senior pastor for 27 years. I've been in the ministry 30 years. I was in law enforcement for 10 years before that. I wouldn't do that to myself. You can trust what I'm telling you. I was in contact with Zullo today. What he told me and what he gave me permission to tell you is it's bigger than it's ever been. They've got more than they've ever got. They're going, one trail leads to another trail, leads to another trail, more information, more documents, more evidence that's solid, ready to go before whoever it needs to go before. And that's where we are. Now, that's just happened today. So that's in addition to what I told you a couple of weeks ago. Well, let's take a quick time out. When we come back, I've got many more things I want to share with you, and then we'll get into some of our guests. And plus, of course, you can feel free to call in and be a part of it. Mike Zullo, you there?
Carl, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Listen, in this particular segment, we've only got about 1 minute, literally, so I'm going to hush and let you talk, and then we'll hold you over if you want more time. Go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to call back your play because I was listening out of state. I was listening to your radio show, and
thank you.
You know, I just want to let everybody know that you did talk to me. We've been in contact. This is moving in a direction that was not anticipated by us, and Maricopa County Sheriff's Office is now deeply involved in other aspects of this, and we're working closely together as one team and one unit moving forward on this. I can't give you any specific details. I can tell you this, though, that whole notion of a Xerox 7655 copier is out the window.
Yeah.
That is nothing more than another red herring rabbit trail going nowhere, and we will annihilate it when that time comes.
Fantastic. Mike, can you stay on for another 4 or 5 minutes after the break, or do you need to go?
No, I could do that.
Okay, good. I'll put you on hold because you have tantalized everybody, and we're right up against the break. I know you can't hear the music, but the music's playing, and we do have to take a hard time out. Well, there's Mike Zullo. You just heard him backing my play, so to speak. In other words, what I told you is true. It's accurate. Mike Zullo would be an idiot to call up here and say that. If it wasn't, I would be an idiot. So, folks, we're just trying to help you understand that this is huge. Just be patient. Be prayerful, okay? I mean, the evidence is mounting up. It's overwhelming, and it's not just about the birth.
The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.